I think there's this unspoken fear in Christianity when it comes to being honest about where we really are emotionally and spiritually. And I don't just mean online. Yes, social media has made it harder because everybody posts the highlight reel, the happy moments, the engagement photos, the answered prayers, God did it testimonies. But even beyond social media, I think many Christians struggle to be honest in real life too, because there's this pressure to always appear spiritually strong. It's almost like we feel we can only talk about our struggles once we've overcome them, once the prayer has been answered, once the healing comes, once the breakthrough happens. Then we can say, look what God did. But while we're actually in the middle of the pain, we become quiet, we isolate, we suffer silently. And honestly, I think that's one of the reasons why so many believers feel emotionally exhausted, because sometimes culture unintentionally creates this atmosphere where people feel like they can't be struggling too much. And when someone finally does open up about what they're going through, especially if it's something ongoing, the response is often surface level. We give the Christian response. You just need to trust God. God will work it out. Just pray about it. And listen, those things are true. I believe in the power of God. I believe in prayer. I believe God heals, restores, delivers, performs miracles, the whole nine. But sometimes when someone is in the thick of grief or disappointment or heartbreak, those phrases just don't land the way we think they do. Not because the truth isn't powerful, but because pain can make it hard to process truth emotionally in that moment. Sometimes people don't need a rehearsed response. Sometimes they just need honesty, compassion, or someone just willing to sit with them in that moment. Can we just admit that following God can feel hard sometimes? Can we just be real for 1 second? As women especially, there are seasons that genuinely hurt. It's hard waiting. It's hard feeling overlooked. It's hard watching everyone else move into seasons you've been praying for. It's hard wanting marriage and still being single. It's hard wanting a child and still being barren. It's hard trying to stay faithful when life doesn't look how you imagined it would. And I think we have to stop pretending that contentment means the absence of pain. You can love God deeply and still grieve the season you're in. Those two things can exist at the same time. I think sometimes we've reduced faith to performance. So people smile through heartbreak. They come to church exhausted. They pretend their marriage is perfect. They pretend motherhood isn't overwhelming. They pretend they're financially okay when they're barely holding things together. And after a while, kind of pretending becomes suffocating. Even in singleness, I think there's a pressure to perform contentment. And I want to be honest, there are seasons where I hated being single. In fact, I still have those seasons where I do hate being single. I want companionship. I want marriage. I want family. And saying that out loud doesn't make me less spiritual. It makes me human. I think sometimes people hear honesty like that and immediately assumes it means you lost your faith. But that's not true. Being honest about pain is not the same thing as abandoning God. The Bible is actually full of people who wrestled emotionally while still remaining faithful. David cried out in the Psalms. John the Baptist, one of the greatest prophets, even had a moment where he questioned if Jesus was really the one. We see strong believers over time have moments of fear, confusion, discouragement, and doubt. And I think sometimes we forget that. Faith is not pretending you never struggle. It's continuing to hold on to God even while you struggle. That's why I think about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego so often, because they said in the midst of their trial, we know that God can deliver us, but even if he doesn't. And that statement always stood out to me because it showed both confidence and surrender. They believed God could. They believed in his ability, but they surrendered the outcome. And that's where I think most of us live. It's not that God can't do it. It's God, I know you can. I just don't know how this story is going to unfold. And that's real. We've all prayed for things that didn't happen the way we hoped. We fasted, believed, contended, and sometimes the answers still look different than what we expected. So what do we do then? I think we learn how to stay honest before God instead of performing for people. One of my biggest breakthroughs happened when I stopped trying so hard to appear okay all the time. I stopped pretending every season was easy. I stopped feeling guilty for admitting this hurts, I'm struggling, I'm discouraged, or it's just hard to pray today. But I also learned something important. Not everyone is a safe place. You don't have to be vulnerable with everyone, but you do need at least one safe space where you can be honest. Because healing does grow in honesty. And that's one of the reasons why I created this channel. I wanted a space where people could feel seen, a space where we can encourage each other without pretending that life is perfect. Because the people who impacted me the most were never the ones who acted like they never suffered. It was the people who walked through disappointment, loneliness, and grief or confusion, and somehow still chose to trust God in the middle of it, giving me the encouragement that I could too. Not after the storm, in the middle of it. That's the kind of faith that I think we all need to have. And maybe you're there right now. Maybe you love God, but you're tired, or you're praying, but discouraged. Maybe you're showing up to church smiling while privately fighting battles nobody knows about. I want you to know this. You don't have to perform your Christianity to be loved by God. God is not asking you to fake strength. He's asking you to stay close to Him, even in these moments. And if you're in a hard season right now, I hope this channel reminds you of something. You're not weak because this season hurts, and you're not failing because you're struggling. So don't quit. Keep going. Keep seeking God. Keep showing up. Keep trusting Him one day at a time, even if your faith feels really, really small right now. Because sometimes the strongest faith is simply the decision to stay. Now, if you've enjoyed this video and want to hear more encouraging content like this, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and until next time, finish this race.